The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone to McStabber Studios premiere of The Way Home for the holidays. We are playing this game, this premiere, in honor of Game Pink, an initiative for National Breast Cancer Foundation. We are striving to raise funds to help provide mammograms for people in need. So if you are able to contribute to the charity during this stream, a link will be posted in our chat while we play, where you can donate to this amazing cause that will provide direct screening support to people who've been unable to do so during the pandemic. Thank you so much for your donations thus far. We have well exceeded our initial goal that we thought we would have, and we appreciate all your generosity. I am Relynn, known in Twitch chat as Mama McStabber, and for this 4-session miniseries, I will be the game master, while these lost try to find their way home. And with no further ado, please introduce yourselves, my lost souls.
Hello, I am Lonhee. You can find me at Lonhee10 on Twitter. Once long ago, my name is Rosalina. By the strength in my limbs and the will of my heart, I will be once again, and I will return home.
Hello, my name is Sebastian. I am Seba Penalo in Twitter, and I'm playing Alfie. Once long ago, my name was Alfie. By the strength of my limbs and the will of my heart, I will be once again, and I will return home.
Hello, my name is Brad, Timber Brad 411 in chat, and once long ago, my name was Eugene Abrams. By the strength in my limbs and the will of my heart, I will be once again, and I will return home.
Hello, I am Aaron, better known as Great Cthulhu Everywhere. Once long ago, my name was Corey Winters. By the strength of my limbs and the will of my heart, I will be once again, and I will return home.
Excellent. Well, lost. You have all wandered, aimlessly at times, through a dense wilderness. You have vague memories of a time before being in this place. Those memories might be of war or violence or tragedy or any variety of things, but they've become hazy over the time you've spent in this wilderness. And as you have wandered, you have seen many things, heard even stranger things, but they were always just beyond your perception. But they seem to be guiding you towards somewhere. And you believe, along this wandering that you have done, and finding a few seemingly handy items along the way, that you have landed where you needed to be. Before you, you see, just beyond the thicket of trees, a well-worn dirt path. Lost, which of you is the first to approach the path?
I will,
Go ahead.
I will start following the path first.
You will start first. Okay. I just got told in Twitch chat that I need to bump up my volume. Obviously, I'm talking too soft. Okay, so Rosalina, or the Lost, formerly known as Rosalina, approaches the path first. That takes quite a bit of courage. Because you don't know where this goes. You just know you need to be on it. And as you approach the path, you see how worn it is, like many, many people have traversed this path. And as you look behind, you see it goes further into the forest, and as you look ahead, you actually see the sun rising above the trees. And you feel that that's the direction you need to go. You just know home is going to be east. And that's where you want to get. Who is next to step onto this path?
I imagine Eugene is kind of looking at a well-worn map, and is kind of like, looking down and then looking up, and he just stumbles onto the path, and kind of once he's there, looks around and kind of figures that this is the path that he was looking for on the map.
So Eugene steps onto the path?
Yeah. Like, he'll look around, making sure that it seems like there's nothing danger. His instinct is to kind of stay to the side of the path. But once he realizes there's nothing dangerous on, he'll move on to it.
He sees a woman on the path. Rosalina, please describe yourself. Tell us what this gentleman sees.
So Rosalina, she has black, long, wavy hair. She is dressed in a long sleeve shirt with some jeans and some high tops. And she has on like a backpack. And that's what you see.
And then Eugene, sorry.
I was going to say, for Eugene, I believe that might be clothing that he's never seen before.
Oh, so Eugene looks like it's got a open collar shirt on that I guess best would be described as like a greenish tan, but the collar is open, and he's kind of like, once he sees Rosalina, he'll be sort of confused. the style is definitely not what he's accustomed to. And he'll say, "Hello." Oh, and he looks in his like older teens.
Rosalina will turn back and look at him and just kind of like squint her eyes because she doesn't really know what she's seeing and if he's like actually like there, if he's just like because of the clothing. And she'll be like,
Yeah, to you, he'll look old-fashioned.
are
Crew
you
cut and everything, right?
Yeah.
are you going the same way?
And he'll kind of like look down at the map, look back up to Rosalina. It's just like he'll point in the direction, not into the wilderness, but he'll like point to what he thinks based on the path in the map where east might be, thinking that's where home is. And he's like, "That I'm going that way. Is that the way you're going?"
I believe so.
We might be best for us to go together. Strength in numbers.
I will be fine with that.
And my name is. I almost said my last name for some reason. What I think is my last name. You can call me Eugene.
I'm Rosalina. I think I don't remember my last name though.
And as the two of you start to step forward, moving in the direction of the rising sun over the treetops, another individual steps out onto the path. Who is the next to step out?
I think Alfie is.
Okay.
But Alfie doesn't appear alone. Not at all. Alfie is this kid, shaved, brown skin with a ponytail, that wears this jacket full of pockets and some ruined sort of jeans. But you see him very tall because he's riding a goat, a big mountain goat. And as he appears, he says, "Lucy, damn it, don't, oh, you find a way." And that's the character that appears.
And so Alfie sees this seemingly out of time, probably a soldier, and this young woman with beautiful, long, black, wavy hair that seems dressed fairly modern, maybe even a little more modern than you, walking as you enter the path, riding your large mountain goat, Lucy.
As he sees them, he will try to cower a bit, like bring it back, but Lucy will be disobedient and will go away to them. Like, yes. I'm like, no, Lucy, you're going to step on. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
This is so weird. I thought I was alone.
Yeah, I thought the exact same until just a few moments ago.
Yeah, almost hoping it was a dream, but it's okay. So they call me Alfie.
Nice to meet you. I'm Rosalina.
And you can call me Eugene.
Okay.
Is this your goat?
Oh yes, she's my friend.
And like
I don't.
Eugene will kind of like instinctively sort of like move towards the goat and then just kind of like kneel down, but more like a squat, and then just kind of like get eye to eye sort of with the goat and is like, what's her name?
Her name is Lucy, and she's quite bitey. Be careful.
And Eugene won't like necessarily put a hand towards her just because he doesn't want to get bit, but he'll just be like, "Hi, Lucy," and then he'll stand back up.
And when you say hi to her just before you stand up, Lucy snorts at you. Lucy also is not the most patient of goats. So what she does while you three are talking and conversing and getting to know each other a little bit, she basically takes off with Alfie on her back towards the east.
Lucy.
And Eugene will do one of those like movie, like military sort of like trots. And he's got a bag under one of his arms. It's kind of difficult to see what it is. But then he's got the map that he's just kind of like crumpled up into his hand, and he's just like trying to like keep up in that like military sort of jog.
Well, Lucy isn't like at a flat out run, but she's definitely she's a goat on a mission.
And you see in Alfie's back, now that Lucy has gone away, very awkwardly in the jacket, like almost like pulling it down, there is an old rusty pickaxe, like miner's pickaxe. In the meantime, he's kind of going doom, 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 almost falling over where he's like, please no.
And there is another lost individual that reaches the path just as this goat starts trotting towards them.
Yeah, I think Corey's been like tentatively eyeing the path from like behind a tree and then has finally stepped out onto it as the goat appears.
Yes.
And so she jumps back like, holy shit.
Describe what they see.
Yeah, so dressed very similar to this. Little beanie with an alien on the head, little tuft of blonde hair pointing out. It's all very much well worn though, and not necessarily like I've been running through the woods well worn. Like these are old clothes. She's also wearing skinny jeans that also have a similar amount of wear and tear, and some nice Chuck Taylors. And she has a skateboard tucked under her arm.
I imagine like as soon as Corey kind of startles, like instinctively Eugene would like his hand would move towards his hip, and he would like instinctively just be more like scared, startled. And like once he realizes that it's not what he thinks it is, he'll just be like, oh, hi. And he'll like his hand, like you see it, like it goes towards his hip. And like once he realizes, you know, that it's not in a immediate danger, his hand moves away, and then it just kind of like raises and goes, oh, hi there.
Hi. You're people, right? Like actual people?
Oh, I hope so.
Yes.
Great. I'm Corey.
Nice to meet you. I'm Rosalina.
Eugene. And he'll point towards the goat that's sort of like running with Alfie. Is like, that's Lucy.
And the goat has stopped, realizing that you all are not keeping up. Huffs.
Oh, Eugene is.
Yeah.
Okay, but everyone else is like stopping now because this person got startled, and she and turns, and Alfie's like swaying on
Come
top
on,
of her.
Lucy.
And she returns back to the rest of the group.
Yeah, good.
And she just
good,
snorts.
Lucy. This is like the first time you've heard me. Very good.
And then she tries to nip you.
Ow! Alfie.
Nice to meet you all.
Are you going east, or are you going? And he'll point in the direction. Are you going this way too?
Yeah, I think so. That it feels right, right?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think we're all heading in the same direction. Yeah, I can't speak for everyone, but you're more than welcome to join us. More the merrier, they say. Do they say that?
Yes,
Sounds right.
they say it.
I think that's a thing.
Rat, I guess, but yeah, I guess. Just a lot of people, you know?
So, you all, after introducing yourselves to each other, start to traverse down this well-worn path you have seen. It looks like cart tracks in it. It looks like footprints in it, hoof prints in it, that have all been packed down. The ground itself is not very dusty from this path because it is so well worn, and it cuts right through the dense forest, heading east. As you make your progress towards the edge of the forest, you all are overcome with a sense of just knowing you are on the right path, that you do not belong in this wilderness, that if you keep moving, you will find the way, and that the lost must stick together. You all have been here for a while to get to this point. Some of you have been here so long to have lost a lot of your memories. Some of you have not been here that long and still hold on to a lot of yourself still. But there are all reasons why you are here. And you can't help but shake the feeling that you'll find that out as you make your way. So, lost. As you're making your way through the forest, you hear various noises in the forest, and you see what appears to be, are those fireflies? Or some folks might know them as lightning bugs. And then the forest thins and you start to hear sounds that are not animals. It's the sounds of work. You hear chopping noises. You hear the creak of trees falling. It echoes through the forest where you are now, after walking some time. What would you like to do?
Alfie cowers a bit and says, I don't like how that sounds. I know it's weird. Don't feel at home at all.
Eugene, I feel, would sort of instinctively try to like hide along the edge of the path and then try and observe what's going on. I'm trying to see if he can like identify the sound specifically. It's just he has this, it's like it's been trained into him, this idea of just kind of hide and see what they're about to walk on into so they're not caught by surprise.
Okay.
I think Rosalina, because she's in a new environment, she would just instinctively like pull out her knife for protection, and because she doesn't know what the sounds is, so she's kind of very like scared, and she doesn't know if she's going to need to protect herself or what she needs to do. So she just pull out her knife.
I think Corey's going to overcompensate for being scared of a goat and is going to bravely charge forward, though everyone else in the party can smell that this is pure bravado. There is no real courage here.
You are trying to be courageous,
I sure
Corey.
am.
You really are. I mean, you've steeled yourself, and you're like, I'm gonna go check this out. I'm just gonna go do it. Act on impulse there. Show off a little bit. I want you to roll 2d6 and add. And add your cowardice to it.
That's a 12 total.
Yeah, you take a good few steps towards the source of the sound. Real brave-like. Of course, everyone else around you realizes that that's just a front. Because what happens is you turn around and walk right back, and you hide behind Alfie and the goat.
I'm already cowering, and I make space for you to fit behind the boat. I'm like, don't worry, she's very brave. She will defend us all.
Tori just like crouches down and squeezes her knees a bit and just like some deep breaths.
So the two tanks apparently in this party are Eugene and the goat.
Yes. All right, so let's talk about what Eugene is doing.
Doing some good old-fashioned reconnaissance.
Yeah, I think you're going to roll... You're actually going to use a move to do so. So roll me 2d6. And actually, for this, I'm going to say add your ignorance to it. Because you tend to be a little bit clumsy.
Yeah, I do. Oh, crap. I had forgotten about that part.
Rolling dice.
It's not awful. 7.
Okay, that is not bad. That is not bad, but that is not a success. That is a partial success with a consequence. So, Eugene, you actually do sneak along the edge of the path near where the sounds are coming from, and you start to get a glimpse, and you see men in workwear, obviously. It's tattered and ratty, but they're in overalls, and they've got boots, and they're working. They are collecting lumber. But as you get a little bit closer to get a better look, you trip over a root and fall. And it makes a glorious noise, and one of the workers hears you over the noise and turns and looks.
Like, as soon as he gets spotted, like, he does that sort of spastic sort of like trying to regain his footing. But keeping I imagine like the bag that he had under his arm just kind of like spilled, and he's just like running to grab the bag, but also like keeping eyes on the men.
The one closest that heard you and looked throws an elbow into the guy beside him and leans over and points at you, whispering something to him. And the other guy looks at you
And Eugene, while a klutz, not a coward.
No, he's not.
And so he's not like moving to like walk to like he's his instinct is just they've seen him, so now it's just he's going to keep them kind of like looking at him. So I mean, he's just looking at him.
Okay, I'm gonna pause you right there. What was Rosalina doing?
Rosalina was like following behind Eugene, but when he falls, she's immediately gonna be like back trail it and get and like kind of stand next to the goat, try to like not.
So you're trying to
Not be
back
noticed.
away. You're trying to back away. You're kind of falling on your secondary nature of being a little bit faint-hearted there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say for that one, you will go ahead and be able to utilize that second nature skill you have of taking -1 ongoing. So the ongoing is a -1 to your despair. You're going to take that -1 and move your despair from -2 to -3. You successfully avoided that potential confrontation that could have been very scary in your mind. And that gives you a little bit of boost to not feeling so heartbroken over being where you are. So you increase that to -3. Okay. So we have Alfie cowering. We have Corey cowering. We have...
I would like to say something.
Okay, give me 1 second. We have Rosalina cowering, and we have Eugene now maintaining eye contact with what he doesn't know is a threat or not of workers processing lumber in the forest. And so what would Alfie like to say or do?
Well, Alfie is along Corey and trying to make friends somehow in this situation. He will just say like, I'm sure they're not that bad. They're just, underpaid workers. Like, they probably won't come here for us, right? Right?
Yeah,
Right, Corey?
Yeah,
Right?
That.
Okay.
Yeah. You should go first and find out.
I know. Kind of has this contradictory look in his face, like he wants to please, but he doesn't want to do this.
No, because I will tell you what everyone else doesn't realize about Alfie is that he is a coward. But he's one of those that is that underhanded kind of indirect kind of coward. He will really just say some shit that undercuts people, but does it in a way that it may not catch on right away. And Alfie just did that, commenting that, they're really not a threat. They're underpaid workers. So, Alfie, you did so out of earshot of these workers. You will take a -1 forward, so you will add -1 to a roll in the future when you are interacting with these workers.
Yeah. And he will make the pretension to move towards, but so slowly, doesn't matter.
All right, so now we return back to Eugene, who is in like this stare down with these guys that are obviously talking about him. And the other guy that was looking at you walks off, goes to what appears to be a supervisor that's a little further away, says something to him. You can't hear because it's far enough and there's still sounds of work going on. And the supervisor glances in your direction, seems to lean forward and kind of try to squint. And you see him leave his post and start walking towards you. The other worker that reported you to him goes back to work.
I imagine instinctively again. So, having had like the map in one hand and the bag in the other, I think he would sort of like instinctively sort of like switch the map over into his hand. So it's like he's got the map in his left hand, and then under his like left arm is he's like holding on to the bag. And then his right hand instinctively is going back to his side because he doesn't know. He's kind of sensing that everybody is
Scared.
And Eugene is not necessarily like he has a sense that that's just not who he is. He's just standing his ground and trying to make sure that this guy that's walking towards them is focused on him. But at the same time, not sure if it's a threat. So instinctively his hand goes to his side, to his trench knife.
Mm-hmm. Well, you are in a somewhat neutral posture.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a
at
defensive.
At the ready. Yeah. And at the ready posture. And this older gentleman approaches. He's got this long white beard and mostly balding, and you can tell he's spent a lot of time outside because that skin looks like good old weathered leather. And he says, I ain't seen you around these parts.
I haven't been in these parts. We just came from the woods.
Oh. You walking the path now?
I think so.
Ah. Well. Y'all got somewhere to stay when it gets dark? Y'all got food? You got stuff to take care of yourselves?
Eugene will sort of like instinctively, when they mention food, sort of like gesture towards the bag under his arm. And it's a old World War II era MRE. And he's just like, I have food. Not sure about the others.
Okay. Well, if you head up down path a little ways further, you'll come up upon a village. They may have some beds for the night if you need it, and you might even be able to get a hot meal.
Do I owe you something?
It would make my wife real happy to have some guests over. We haven't had any in a long time. Is there a move that you would like to use on this person? Like a basic move?
I'm looking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's hurt. Converse?
Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, I think converse is a good one. You're having this conversation with this individual. You're paying attention to his interaction with you, not only his words, but how his mannerisms are. So you go ahead and roll your dice and add your distrust.
And then Eugene is still fairly young, so he wants to be trusting.
So your distrust is a -1. You'll subtract that from your total.
5.
5. That is a successful roll, because in this game, we have to roll low. Okay, so that is considered a hit. The conversation is enlightening, and humanizing. Reveal a secret to this individual you are conversing with about your character, and you get to make choices of two things within that list and converse. And it can be with another wild or lost. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend the despair or the wild, because that may not apply.
So
What brings you out here?
there was a war.
Oh. I've seen a few of you soldier types.
There was, I just remember running and I got surprised and then I was in the wilderness.
Yeah, sometimes it happens like that.
There's like my ears were ringing at first, like maybe it was an explosion or something. But I mean, I woke up and I don't know necessarily how I got here, but it looked like I was fine. But I couldn't remember everything.
So what two things would you like to do now that you revealed a secret about yourself?
Compel them to tell the truth about themselves. And then I think maybe the wild's weakness. No, we'll do the reveal the next layer.
Reveal the next layer? Okay.
Yeah.
My wife would appreciate the company because our children they're lost. They went wandering in the woods, and we think a witch got them. She's been beside herself with grief and loneliness ever since, because we couldn't find him anywhere. This folk is revealed to be accursed. And maybe if we offer you some hospitality, you might be willing to help us.
I definitely think Eugene hearing about the grieving mother sort of like instinctually, like something almost kind of like triggers in him.
Sparks a little memory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me talk to my friends and see how they feel. But I think that would be fine. I think it would be mighty kind.
That's why we have extra beds. So.
If you can give me one moment.
Yeah.
And then Eugene, still kind of like, not necessarily like suspicious of the man, but still just kind of, they're talking about kids going missing, and Eugene is, still sort of in that defensive, and now it's more so that he's got people I think he feels he needs to protect.
Mm-hmm.
He's still kind of very much keeping an eye. The gentleman, so he moves back to everybody. The gentleman says that if we go up this way, there's a village that may have room and board, but they're offering for us to stay here for the night. They have open beds. They had some children that went missing, and they may want us to see if we can maybe help find them.
Oh,
I understand if you guys don't want to stay here or help, but I feel like it would be a good thing to do.
no, I mean, we have to, right? That's horrible. And you kind of realize Alfie's a team. It's like,
Eugene is an older teen, but he's definitely got those moments where he's more child than adult.
I
I think-
mean, go.
I think Corey looks about 15 to everyone else. But as Eugene fills in, Corey mutters under her breath, "Always conditions with adults, isn't there?"
It's conditions with everybody.
I mean, they're little brothers and sisters. They may be together. I don't know.
And Eugene will look over to Rosalina and is like, and you, miss?
I don't think we should help them or stay. We don't know what will happen if we do. We have to keep going.
Mm,
I'm not in love with the idea either, but I'm not in love with the idea of being out here at dark either.
I mean, we need to sleep somewhere, right? They seem nice enough.
It's hard to explain, but I feel they're more haunted than dangerous. If
There's
that
ghosts?
makes sense. No, like they're lonely. I don't know. It's something in the conversation I had with him. It seems like maybe we would be doing some good, not just for ourselves, but maybe for someone else.
They said there was up the path there was a village. Why can't we just go there?
I mean, we can, but
That is where his wife is.
she's in the village.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, let's go to the village.
You don't have to come back and tell the guy. You can decide to just go. Mm-hmm.
Eugene would tell him, like he would go up to the guy.
Before you do, as you walk away, Corey, how has that conversation made you feel?
Extremely nervous about staying at their house. She's very sus.
And the fact that Eugene really thought that those people were just lonely. How did that resonate with you?
I think it probably triggers a brief memory of how she got here in the first place.
Yeah.
Of running and being struck.
And yeah, please.
No, go ahead.
Okay. And Alfie, how did that conversation resonate with you?
The word loneliness kind of caved in him. he suddenly feels really bad about saying that about him to Corey, just to impress Corey. He would actually like to be a bit brave and go with the guy too.
To go with Eugene to talk to him? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. You may accompany Eugene in that conversation with the older man. Rosalina, how did that conversation impact you?
She is going over a million things in her head of how this could go wrong. And she is in a tough spot. And she knows that they must stay together. But she's at that fight or flight instinct. And she kind of wants to run, but she knows she can't.
That distrustful nature of yours. It always peeks its head out, doesn't it? Yeah. And really, you have reason to be distrustful. The memories that you have been able to retain have just reinforced it, that there were things that were not as good as they seemed in your life. So, Corey and Rosalina, do you leave the goat with the ladies while you accompany Eugene, Alfie?
I mean, if Lucy's not going with me, yeah, because Lucy does what she wants.
Lucy is not going anywhere until everybody moves. She has actually sat down on her haunches.
Yeah, I will mention Corey, like, could you look Lucy, not too bad. It's just, she's very friendly.
She snorts at that. Okay, so you leave Lucy with the ladies, and you accompany Eugene. So Eugene, you now have a partner going into this endeavor with you to inform this old man. And as the two of you approach him, the old man steps away from his post again because he'd gone back to his job. The way he looks at you coming back, he actually looks surprised. Like he wasn't sure you would actually come back. And he walks up to the two of you. You've made a decision.
Not necessarily. Some of us are hesitant to help.
I understand it's a lot to ask.
In case we decide between here and the village that maybe this is something we can help you with, help your wife with, where would we find her in the village?
She is at a small house with a blue door that is right across from the stables. The stables are empty. We've had some lean years and had to eat the horses. But needless to say, not just children disappearing, we've had hard times. But she will be there. Probably knitting by the fire.
Mister? What happened to your children?
They wandered off into the woods. And we heard the most wicked of sounds. After they'd been missing for a couple hours. And we never could find them.
Wicked.
And ever since then, sorrow has taken up residence in our village.
Is that a person?
No. We've just had the worst of luck ever.
Oh, not a person, then.
I think the witch has cursed us.
Oh, the witch. Witch. They work in threes, right?
Some are solitary creatures. More monster than human.
Well, witches, I think, have a lair. They should have one.
We haven't been able to find it. Every time we go out into them woods, it seems like something stops us. Hell, our last group we sent out of young men, they didn't even come back.
Is there a place in the forest where you could see the stars or the moon or something like that?
There's a clearing. About a half
Yeah.
day's walk in.
Spells take like knowing the stars sometimes. Why do I know this?
He looks at you, and he steps back, and he gets this real suspicious look. Are you a witch?
No, I'm Alfie.
Another layer has been revealed of this individual. This individual is a Puritan.
Alfie really cowers now because he feels he fucked up.
And I think in that the Eugene will definitely put himself between.
Is that one a witch?
No. He's lost like all of us. He's not a witch.
Alfie, you're going to basically roll for converse. You will be able to take your forward of -1 because you are interacting with this person that you insulted out of earshot. So with that,
That is distrust.
That
right?
is, yep, you're going to roll and then add distrust from your sheet. And then you're going to subtract 1 from that total.
Oh, that means it's a neat 0. Here we go. That's a 7.
Okay. You do not hit with that. You tell a lie about your character and then choose one of the converse options in the list. So you can either take -1 to your next despair roll. You can give -1 to their next despair roll, which I don't necessarily recommend on a wild, because they pretty much already have fucking max despair at this point because they're stuck. You can compel the wild to tell a truth about himself. You can get a hint about the wild's weakness, reveal the next layer of wild, or restore a previous layer of that wild. So you can revert him back from the Puritan that is more aggressive to the cursed that was more worried and looking for help. So you need to tell a lie and then choose one of those options.
Yeah. Alfie will say, I don't know much anyways. I'm very, I don't speak a lot. Honestly, I don't I don't know a lot. I just knew that. I don't know a lot of stuff. I'm not smart. That's not cool.
Okay. And now what would you like to do?
I would like to reverse the Puritan to the accursed.
And you see him take a deep breath, and his face relaxes a little bit. I'm sorry. We have been plagued by the switch for generations. Somebody way down the line pissed her right off. And she has done everything in her power to mess with us every chance she gets. And she's finally taken so much from us that I get sometimes a bit irate when people start talking about that mystic shit.
Don't worry, mister. That wasn't very smart move. I shouldn't have said anything.
Just don't be saying stuff like that around my wife. She'll start crying.
Well, shut up.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate your consideration. Perhaps the others may be inclined to help once they actually meet my wife and see the state that she is in.
And then like Eugene will start to kind of like walk away towards the path. And then just sort of like instinctively, he'll kind of like stop, look back at the gentleman, just feel like, I hope your luck changes, sir.
And he takes his hat off at that, puts it to his chest, and nods his head.
And then, yeah, Eugene will go back to the group and then just kind
I
of
follow.
start going, like get everybody back together and then start kind of going on the path.
Okay, so as you all reconvene, and Alfie and Eugene have learned quite a bit about this interaction with this gentleman. How things are not always as they seem on the appearance here. That everything's layered.
Stupid onions.
Onions. They cause tears. Just wait and see. And what we're going to...
He's an ogre.
What we're going to do right now is we are going to go to break at this point before these group of lost traverse to this village and meet with this gentleman's wife. So we will see you in about 10 minutes. And remember, we are raising funds for Game Pink with National Breast Cancer Foundation. If you have the availability to donate, do not put yourself in a financial bind to do so. But if you have the availability to donate to help people, please, please, please consider making a donation. It is a tax write-off, and tax season is coming soon. So it is a tax write-off. You can help people and get a little kick in your taxes for doing so. So thank you so much, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the way home for the holidays. So, where we left off, the group of Lost has started making progress on their path that they feel is towards home. And they heard noises in the woods along the path. It sounded like work going on, like trees being felled or possibly even processed. Logs for wood, things like that. Possibly for building materials, possibly for burning. These things, the people in this wilderness have to survive. So they have to do work in order to do so. And Eugene, being trained in scouting and doing things like that, pursued the sound, got some attention because he's very clumsy, and ended up initiating a conversation with the supervisor, an elderly man, that told a story of how there was respite to be found in the village that he lives in with his wife, that they have been cursed by a witch, that townsfolk have lost their children, that they've been suffering basically blights of sorts, that they feel like they have been thoroughly cursed by a witch. And with some negotiation, the group agreed to continue on the path towards this village and kind of investigate what's going on there. Some were very hesitant about this. Some flat out didn't want to do it. Everyone is behaving very true to their flawed natures of why they are here in the first place. So, who within that first half of our game gained progress for basically rolling with their flaws? 2 of you so far. And as a matter of fact, I believe, Rosalina, you also rolled with your flaw. So you mark a progress on your sheet. And Alfie, you did as well with your little insult. So, mark a progress on your sheet. In this game, the Lost will try to accumulate 3 advancements of progress, basically marking progress on their sheet, in order to start resolving some of their worst flaws, to bring the scores of them lower, because this is a roll low to win game. And if they can bring those flaws from positive numbers to negative numbers, that will make them a better person. And that is their path home. So, congratulations on earning a little bit of progress already, Lost. Now, let's continue the journey to the village. Are you having any conversations as you make your way, Alfie, back on that dear, affectionate, sweet mountain goat? that is making sure to strut in a way that is very uncomfortable to Alfie. I don't think she likes being ridden. So.
In fact, she looks at this branch that's going out, like tries to go through there.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, no, my face.
Yeah, you get smacked in the face with a branch. Yeah. So, would you like to have any conversations, Lost, while you're making your way to this village? It's still morning. The sun has actually crested over the tree line. You can see it. It's beautiful. The sky is a beautiful blue sky. The funny thing is, what you thought were fireflies in the trees are still sparkling, even though they shouldn't be if it's daylight. Very strange. So, you see, you actually have a well-lit path as you are walking away from this logging establishment towards the village.
Yeah, I think Eugene would sort of be trying to get more of like an understanding of everybody's like position on why they shouldn't help. The the man and his wife, just it maybe I'm missing something, but what harm is there in helping a sad couple find maybe a night of maybe not feeling as bad as they normally do?
I get that you want to help them, and that's really, really nice of you. But they seem, well, the old man at least seems too nice.
Oh, he definitely seems like there's something else there. I agree.
It wasn't so nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's something else is we're going to be adopted. That's what I think is going to happen.
He tried to witch hunt me. I was trying to help.
I mean, you were talking about some very spooky stuff to a man who was worried that his missing children went missing from a witch.
Come on, Macbeth, you didn't read that, or?
A blank stare from Corey.
There's probably a blank one from Eugene.
Oh, you didn't. Okay, maybe I should shut up.
No,
I
Alfie. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, Alfie, I read it, so I know what you're saying.
Yeah, they work in threes, and they do spells under the stars too. They need to know which moon they have. I'm still weirded out.
Yeah, being kind is great and all, but I don't. In my experience, kindness just gets you taken advantage of.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I am just, one, and there's four of us, so I am entirely okay with putting it to a vote. If you don't want to help them, I'm fine with that. But regardless, we're going to need shelter at least for the night. As we keep moving, we're going to need, they're offering, a place to sleep, food. That's we're going to have to get it somewhere. And he kind of like gestures to the bag, which now the all of you see, it's like an MRE is like, this isn't going to, feed all of us forever.
I think at the mention of food, Corey's stomach makes a really loud noise.
Hearing that, probably Rosalina will like take off her backpack and then unzip it and like pull out like a snack and like hand it to Corey and be like, "Here you go."
Oh, thank you. She'll like tentatively take it.
And I even think that, again, just in Eugene's nature, he would almost sort of like offer, just like, I can give you some of this. It's good to have in an emergency.
No, let's, we don't know what's ahead for us. So I agree. We need food. So let's do this. But I don't trust them a single bit, just for the record.
No, and I think that is a, after, hearing your opinions on it, I think you might be right. It's, maybe I'm quick to trust. So it's, thank you for explaining it to me, I guess.
The snack that you were given, Corey, is deer jerky. And it is salty. So you eat it, it is dry and salty, and now you are thirsty. So, are we still planning to stop in at this village?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So as you all have had your conversation, you round a bend in the path as directed by the gentleman at the lumberyard. And you come upon a quaint village. It's actually quite beautiful looking at it from the path. There's a small footpath that leads into the village, and it's nestled. You can see mountains in the distance behind it. And you see it's actually on a slight hill itself, and the trees around it have started to thin out a bit. Obviously, they've been deforested a bit for their lumber. And you can actually see down the hill is a large lake shining in the sun. But you veer off the main path and start walking into the village. You pass under an arch that lists the name of the village, Quietville. And it is quiet. You do not hear any children playing in the streets. You do not hear any animals making sounds. You pass by a stable, and it is empty. And as some of you were directed, the house that you're looking for with the blue door is right across the path from the stables. A little further in, if you want to explore this town first before going by her house, is a general store. Peeking in through the windows, you can see that most of the shelves are bare. There's a few canned goods, supplies, but not many. You pass by a school, small one-room schoolhouse. You see a lock on the door, and in the windows it is dark. No one is teaching there. You pass by a church. There is some life in this church. You see women kneeling, praying, sobbing. And a minister in the pulpit, trying to give benedictions to these women who are grieving. There's a graveyard by the church with numerous graves. And if you wander into the graveyard, you will see all ages covered in those who have demised. You would even see family names repeating, where generations have lost young and old alike. You see a few other houses in town, some nicer than others. And some of them you see curtains pull back, like people might be watching you. But no one comes out to greet you. They may be curious or they may be afraid. And you make your way back to the small house with the blue door. What will you do?
Before before they kind of like get right up to the door, like Eugene's like, I recognize, I understand this may be uncomfortable. And if something happens and I'm not picking it up, please point it out, because maybe I've been a bit sheltered.
They're all scared as fuck.
I mean, it seems like, something is picking this town apart.
I mean, that was the coldest welcome I've ever seen.
I mean, I imagine, if all of their loved ones are being, killed by some witch, or, maybe they, were new. Maybe they just don't trust what's new. They don't, but if at any point you guys want to leave, we'll leave. But I think go in with the plan that it's see if maybe talking can help, see if maybe we can get room and board for the night, and then back to the path in the morning.
I think I will be okay if it's just for the night.
Seconded.
Third. Yeah, that's
Four.
absolutely.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
And kind of like instinctively, like Eugene will just kind of like look towards Lucy and just be like,
And
just
Lucy's just like,
I believe that's as good as we're gonna get. And then Eugene will knock on the door.
I am having way too much fun playing Lucy. All right, so Eugene has stepped up onto the little porch and knocked on the door. And he hears shuffling. You actually saw walking up to the house that there was smoke rising from the chimney. And then you hear footsteps. And they are slow, almost shuffling footsteps. And then you hear a key turn in the door. And the door opens. And it is a woman. Her hair is salt and pepper. She is short, but sturdy, built. Obviously, she's built for the type of hard life that she's had to live. And she's got some fine wrinkles on her face, and she looks at you and looks around you, sees the other people there. Can I help you?
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm sorry to disturb you. We were just coming down from the path, and I believe I ran into your husband.
Joe. Yeah, up at the lumberyard.
Yeah, that's right. He said that you might have the space and accommodation for us to stay for the night. We're trying to make our way on the path east.
Oh. Yeah. Come on in. I'll fix you some. Oh, look, she looks out, sees where the sun is. It's getting on close to lunchtime. Come on, I'll fix you some food. Come on. And she welcomes you into her humble home.
And Eugene will kind of like step in first and like is sort of like surveying the place, like as soon as he walks in, almost sort of just
Okay.
like instinctively surveying. So I would probably do like observe or something.
Yep, you are going to do that.
I think Corey's going to do the exact same thing when she steps in.
Yeah.
So your observe, you are going to roll and add your ignorance. Both of you. And any who are doing so as they come in, trying to observe their surroundings.
I got 5.
5. Okay, so I'm going to make a note. Corey got 5.
Yep. So I got 6.
Okay, Eugene got a 6.
I got a 1 and a 2, and then plus the 3 for my ignorance.
Okay. Anybody else rolling?
I got a 9.
Okay.
So is this what skill could we observe?
It's a basic one. You're going to roll 2d6 and add your ignorance. It's a basic move.
Perfect. There I catched it actually. Oops. The die is 12, so it's a 10.
Because you have -2 on ignorance? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 10. All right, so Alfie got a 10. Since all of you are rolling this, I made a note of what you roll so I can custom tailor your experiences based on what you got. Okay. So for Corey and Eugene, you both got a hit. A layer of this woman, will be revealed to you. But first, I want to deal with those who did not get hit. So on a 7 to 9, which is Rosalina, the next layer is revealed, but in a way that puts you in a position of powerlessness before it. So, I have an idea on that. Again, that requires a reveal. On the 10 plus, you get misinformation, Alfie. This woman is just a townfolk that has been through some horrible stuff. You can feel it off of her. She's a nurturing soul. She just wants her children back. You can see photographs, tintype style photographs of her children as you observe, and they are displayed prominently on the hearth, the mantle actually, of her fireplace. Where she can see it, you notice a rocking chair placed, facing towards the fireplace, and her basket of knitting beside it, so that she can knit and stare at the faces of her children. That is what you observe, Alfie. Now, for Corey, Eugene, and Rosalina, the reveal of the next layer of this wild. She appears on the surface to be a folk, to just be a town folk, in dire straits. From everything you're observing in this room, that's what she appears to be. But each of you have a feeling that there's more than that to her. She just welcomed you right in by claiming you knew her husband. The next layer of this one is actually Faye. And Rosalina, You can't shake the feeling that if she doesn't get what she wants, she's going to abuse the shit out of you. She will use you, manipulate you, strip you of every power you have. And you will love her for it. So that's the results of your observation while this woman has exited into the kitchen to prepare lunch for you. What do you do now?
I just want to verify. So only Rosalina got the
Mm-hmm.
that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, Eugene would sort of go where, you know, she's kind of offered to feed. Like he'll like sit at the table wherever.
In the kitchen?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, this isn't a big fancy house. It doesn't have a separate dining room. It has an eat-in kitchen. It has basically a family room there in the front of the house where there is a radio. There is it's actually more like a record player than a radio. And then there is a sofa and, you know, a couple comfortable chairs, the rocking chair that probably at one time was turned towards the other seating, but has now been turned towards the fireplace to view the children's pictures. You know, there is a small hallway that probably leads to bedrooms. And then you noticed on your traversal through the town that there are outhouses, that there is no indoor plumbing per se in this town. So you sit at the table and you observe her just preparing. She's actually making a salad with some leftover vegetables she has in her old icebox. Tomatoes and cucumbers and things that would have grown in a garden. And there seems to be a pot of soup or stew, very fragrant, boiling on the stove.
Eugene will
I'll-
just sit there and he's just waiting, kind of like looking around, like sitting in the kitchen and only in the, you know.
So have you been on the road long?
Kinda a lot.
A while.
I've seen other travelers coming through. Sometimes
bet.
they stop and sometimes they don't.
It smells good.
Oh, thank you. Joe keeps telling me I'm a good cook. Oh, by the way, I'm Sarah.
Nice to meet you.
And you all are?
Hey, call me Alfie.
I'm Eugene, ma'am.
Ah,
I'm Rosalina.
My name's Sam.
hmm. All right. I would like for you to all to roll converse. You roll and then add your distrust.
Good.
Distrust. So it's six on the dice minus one. That's 5 for me.
Okay.
That's
9.
That's a 10 for me.
10. Okay. And Alfie, what'd you get?
It's
6? Okay. So, on the hits, which is the 5 and the 6 for Corey and Alfie, the conversation is enlightening and humanizing. Reveal a secret about your character and choose 2 from the list in the basic moves.
You know, Miss Sarah, you remember me a lot to my mom, actually.
Oh, that's
She
very sweet of you to say.
she took care of me and my brothers even when Dad was out. You know, she had a lot to grab, so I just tried to not be trouble, but you remember me to her.
So, what would you like her to do from your 2 choices? We'll do one at a time.
I would like to compel the other person to tell the truth, and I would like to get a hint of her weakness.
I had 2 boys myself. They got lost. I don't know where they are. It's been years now. My husband seems to think it's a witch. I don't know. There's scarier things than that out in them damn woods. We've lost search parties looking for them. And as far as a weakness, she doesn't like to lose things she considers are hers. Makes her feel vulnerable.
Noted.
Mm-hmm. So, Corey, on yours, you will reveal a secret about Corey portraying as Sam. So, Sam, tell me a little something about you.
Well, honestly, all this kindness and homeliness weirds me out. I've been on my own for a really long time.
It's real scary to be on your own. It's hard to trust. I understand.
Sure is.
I understand. I understand.
Okay.
What would you like for her to do?
I would like to reveal the next layer for sure.
Okay.
And then I think a truth about themselves.
Okay. The next layer, if you get to it, because right now she's just easing into that face stuff.
Sure.
The next layer, if you get to it, is going to be folk. She circles back around. She alternates between fae and folk. So, the truth that is revealed to you in revealing that is not one she will verbalize, at least not directly. I understand what it's like to be alone. I was alone for a long time, and then I met Joe. And it changed everything for me. He gave me love, and he gave me a family. But now that's been taken from me, and I don't know what to do. But I can offer some hospitality to y'all. But what you get from that, Corey, is that she alternates between the two because she has been around the folk so long that it has become part of her. but I can offer my hospitality. If y'all might could do something for me. But now let's get to the ones that have to, well, deal with failure on rolls. We have Eugene with a 9. You are to tell a lie about yourself and then choose one of those options. Just one, not two.
I'd been away from home so long I'd almost forgotten what it's like. I don't miss it as much as I thought I might.
Now, is that the lie?
The lie is the lie. That is the lie.
That is the lie, that you don't miss it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you were going to finish, but?
But it's still nice to come back to.
Home is an important thing. Home is an important thing. And Rosalina, you got a 10. You tell a lie about yourself, and then you're going to take +1 despair.
That she misses her lover and wishes she could be with him.
Oh, honey. I'm sure you'll find your way. I'm sure you'll find your way. And you take 1 despair. Well, soup's done and salad's done. If y'all would like to eat, yes.
Do I get my 1 from the list?
Yes.
I want to put her back to Folk.
Okay. So you're wanting to avoid the potential bargain she's about to give you as a fae and make her back to Folk.
Yep.
Excellent. She is back to Folk. So she takes out a plate with a small bowl. She puts salad on the plate and puts soup in the bowl and sets the bowl on the plate with the salad and gets out utensils from a drawer and sets out the plates. And she brings 2 over to the table and goes back and gets the other 2. I'm not going to join you. I've not been able to eat much for a while now. But y'all help yourselves. Make yourself comfortable. If you feel like exploring later, you can stop by the general store. They may have something that'll help you. But you're welcome to stay here as long as you need. We've got beds available. And Joe and I'd hoped to have more than 2 kids, so we'd prepared for a bunch, but only ended up with 2. So, we've got beds.
A bunch is a lot. You couldn't pay attention to all of them at the same time. Anyways.
Don't underestimate me. So, y'all can come and go as you please, and if you decide that one night's enough, then you want to move on, that's fine too. But I do recommend you stop by the general store on your way out to make sure that you get what you need. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am, for your hospitality.
Of
Yes.
course.
Thank you.
And she goes back into her family room and sits down. You hear the rocking chair creak and hear a bit of shuffling, and she's got the clicks of her bone needles, knitting again.
I think Corey has visibly relaxed after the conversation, like to the rest of the rest of the Lost. She's not on edge anymore.
Yeah, Eugene is probably, I imagine, sort of adopting that very either you've been in prison or you've been in the military stance where you're just kind of like hunched over your food and you're just eating, don't take time to taste it.
I say, weirdly enough, Corey eats similarly.
And you find it is actually, it's not fancy, but it is delicious. The soup itself is actually a vegetable soup made with a tomato broth. And it is a fresh salad. There's no meat. They have obviously run out of meat a long time ago. And it's warm, satisfying food. And there's glasses of water there for you to drink, especially for Corey, who has...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey chugs it, just right down.
And you can see in the kitchen where there's a basin, there's actually a hand crank water pump to pump more water if you need it.
Alfie would kind of linger at the pictures a bit, so he would eat very fast. Like, he would take the plate and kind of drink like this to finish. Would kind of look around, like especially the pictures, and like take in.
You see a wedding photo on the wall that is obviously the old man you saw at the lumberyard and the woman who's sitting by the fire knitting. And they are much younger. Much younger. The photos of the children, you see photos of them from when they were babies, being held in their parents' arms for family photos. You see, as they were young children, you see actually a group photo of them and about 10 other kids at the schoolhouse. Boys and girls. And then you see a photo of young teen boys. You think these boys might have been twins. They look a lot alike, like scary, a lot alike. They have her eyes and their daddy's build. And the photos that she's looking at, they look about 8 years old. But you can see in photos they were older than that when they went missing.
Alfie will shuffle a little bit between the older pictures and the school pictures and feel kind of weird inside, like even a little sad.
What is Rosalina doing?
Rosalina is kind of like playing with her food. She's taking bites, but she's kind of just pushing it around. And she'll look at Eugene and be like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but maybe we should help her.
Are you sure?
Just, yeah, we should help her.
Eugene at that point would look over at Corey. How do you feel?
I think we should help her. I don't think she's a threat to us.
So Eugene, out of some sort of like remembered sort of like tick maybe from his past. He'll like instinctively collect the plates, and kind of like take them to the sink and rinse them off, and almost feel like a little sort of like joy from it, and he doesn't
There is-
necessarily remember why.
There is a feeling like you've done this many times. Maybe helping
and-
out a mother.
and then
after a
he'll
meal.
sit down. He'll sit them like gently into the sink, and he'll go over next to her in the rocking chair,
Mhm.
and he'll kind of like look between all of the photos, and kneel down next to her.
She'll set her knitting down in her lap.
You were gonna ask us for some help. How can we help you?
She actually looks up at the photos above her mantel. That was before Mama became a silly old lady that they didn't want to listen to.
Boys are always feisty at that age.
She looks over at the older pictures. That's what they looked like when they left. They were going hunting because we'd run out of meat. They took off in the woods to the north. You can tell the difference because the woods on our side here on the south side are pretty thin. We've chopped a lot of them for wood that we need. But nobody chops wood in that northern forest. I think my sister took them. She's been pissed at me ever since I married Joe. And she has made this town suffer ever since. I tried to protect them, but they got old enough to think I was a silly old woman and being an overprotective mother hen. And that what I was telling was just fairy stories, not real. But a little word of advice. She leans in. Soldier. Fairy stories are real here. You need to be careful.
I don't doubt you for a second, ma'am. I've seen things. I believe you.
Good. My husband wants our sons found. They'll never be found. I want my sister killed. She has brought us enough misery. You'll find her in them woods.
Mistress, is your sister like, this is so weird to ask, human?
No, she isn't. Neither was I, until I met Joe. And she is telling the truth.
Wait, you are... Oh,
And like sort of like with that realization, Eugene will look kind of to Alvin and just, fairy stories are real here.
Fairy stories are real here.
And he'll kind of like sort of stand back up next to her, and just like gently sort of like, a son kind of like comforting a mother sort of a thing where
And she actually
like,
takes her hand that's starting to show some signs of a little bit of age and put it on your hand. And her
it's
hand's
like
warm.
I can't promise that I can do this, but I am willing to try to help find some resolution to this.
She'll try to trick you. She's very crafty. She'll try to lure you in, seduce you. May not be like you think. She'll seduce you with things you desire most. She'll enthrall you, enrapture you, and keep you as her playthings, if you're not careful. That's why I say you won't be able to find my sons, because whatever she's done to them, they are not my sons any longer.
And he'll look at the pictures of the sons who were older.
Mm-hmm. They were about 16.
If we were to find them, what's left of them? Is what she's done to them able to be reversed?
There's a way. There's a way. If you find them, bring them to me. I'll help.
I'll do what I can, ma'am.
This is something. And she when you say that, she says, "Is this something all of you agree with?"
I do.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
She slips her folk and goes into Faye. And you see her skin starts to glow a little bit. Her eyes become very jewel-like. And she says, "The contract is made."
And Eugene will look her dead in the eyes, because again, he's not a coward. He was entirely serious when he told her that he had seen things. And he goes, "Fairy stories are real here. I told you I believed you, ma'am."
They sure are. And then she slips back to her folk. "I thank you all, and you are welcome to stay here. You are safe. If you decide to go into the woods looking for my sister, go to the general store, get some supplies. I will try to gather up what I can to help."
I appreciate anything you can do to help us with this, ma'am.
Very good. And with that, I believe we are going to skip ahead while y'all discuss your plans to probably stop by the general store in the morning and stock up and head out. And you end up staying the rest of the night, having a pleasant dinner. Joe returns home. He's just as warm and welcoming as his wife was. And you all sleep for the night. And we will pick up on that next day in our next session next week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for The Way Home for the Holidays. This night, we ran it for Game Pink with National Breast Cancer Foundation, raising money for providing mammograms to folks in need. That is what National Breast Cancer is planning to do this month. We appreciate everyone for tuning in for this show. We are just getting started. I wanted this first session to be a chance for you viewers and the players at the table to get to know their characters a bit, and then we start easing into the drama that's going to happen.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Them damn cliffhangers. You're absolutely right. Y'all just made a fake contract.
To go directly in that gingerbread house.
Yes.
Yes.
I always wanted to be in a fairy tale, and now I am one.
Thank you so much, everyone. So really, if you enjoyed this, join us over in Discord. I cast this table for this mini-series through a casting call posted on Discord. All 4 of these players were the only ones to apply. And you know what I said? I'm like, you know what? All 4 of you are going to play. And I'm so glad because y'all made excellent characters with lots of ammo for me to pick and prod from. I'm like, everybody's got some trauma. Everybody's got some baggage. Oh, yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun.
I've got one of those big ass suitcases full of like the people size suitcases full.
I'm prepared to like cry. It's fine. I'm ready for the team.
Oh yeah, I apologize now for the absolute clusterfuck of dog shit that Eugene is about to traipse you all through. So
I'm freaking scared.
You're scared already, right?
I am terrified of the contract I've just made.
I've done my job. I've done my job. All right. And seriously, if you've loved the role play that these players have made, considering contributing some bits, show your biddies for our players for real, because we distribute those bits to players at our table. I, Mama McStabber, and Shanky McStabber, when he runs games, do not get any of the bits. The bits go straight to our players. And if you enjoyed what we've done, give us a follow here on Twitch. You can subscribe if you really want to help support us. Or if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can actually use 1 free subscription a month through Prime to help support us. That doesn't cost you anything extra if you're already paying for Prime. Then also, trying to remember that YouTube. So back content, back episodes of our streams. I always get distracted when I'm running games. It's like I can't remember half the shit I'm supposed to close with. So check us out on YouTube. This stream will be posted within the next couple of days for you to catch up on if you missed it live. The VODs here on Twitch are never sub-locked, so you can always catch out the VOD here on Twitch if you missed a part or want to catch it there. But within a day or two, we usually post up our YouTube videos over to YouTube. Join us there. Give us a free, subscribe over there, because the subscribes over there are free. Support the stream that way too, because I mean, the more viewers, the more subscriptions we get on YouTube, the better chance we might be able to eventually monetize. That might be fun, but we don't make a living off of this. We do it for the fun. But we also have some merch available in our merch store. We do not have anything for the way home yet, but I've got some wicked ideas, like session 1, sign a fake contract.
I imagine by the end of this, it's just going to be a t-shirt of what dumb shit has Eugene walked everyone into. Bay contract.
It's going to be a list. It's going to be a laundry list.
Just all caps. I am very brave.
Very brave and very foolish. Oh my goodness. And check out our friends who stream amazing TTRPG content. Last night we finished up Mage the Ascension Neon Tempest, run by Ravnos Archon. Ravnos Archon is an amazing ST and runs multiple games a week on his own channel. Go check him out. Give him some love from the McStabbers. I absolutely adored being a Cult of Ecstasy mage at his table. That was freaking fantastic. And playing with Brad was amazing. Amazing. Best hermetic ever. But yeah.
First hermetic.
And we also have Tabletop RPG. Tabletop Titties, the RPG Table, Macabre Derek. They're all great content creators. Certainly one of them will fill out your niche of preferred content as well, that you can check them out and give them follows and give some love for McStabber Studios. And then really, we love our friends. We love our community. Our community has helped us raise $1,255. for National Breast Cancer Foundation this month. We only have a few more days left in the month that we are going to be raising funds. And if we don't raise any more, that's okay. Seriously, because that has helped so many people. We love y'all for that, for real. And we want you to take care of yourself. Truly. We want you to, if you are struggling with mental distress, mental illness issues, you know, it's a rough time out here, y'all, for real. And a lot of people are struggling. Reach out to those you care about. They may need to hear from you, or you may need to just hear their voice to help perk you up. But if you're really, really struggling and in crisis, right now in chat, we have a list of numbers that you can contact for various crisis reasons to get the support you need. You can call or text these different organizations for free. They will help provide crisis intervention and support, and some will even help provide resources for you to find out where you can get additional support if you need it. And we also have a link for international folks that they can look up their help support line in another country. That way, if you're outside the U.S., we want you to be able to get support too, because we actually have a decent amount of international viewers for our streams, and we want to take care of all our community, not just the American ones. And truly, check out the link to National Breast Cancer Foundation. They do amazing work, for real. I know there ain't no money in nonprofit, but God bless, I'd work for them in a heartbeat because they just do good work. But seriously, they do excellent work. And really, speaking for myself and also a little bit for Brad here, I know he's going to speak up for himself. We are your resident nurses here at McStabber Studios, and it is not only flu season, but it's the winter, so COVID's going to spike too. Please go get your vaccines.
Please, please, please get your vaccines. Please, it's not just for you, it's for everybody.
Right. And I'm not just talking COVID, I'm talking flu shots too, because flu still kills people. Flu patients take up hospital beds because it gets bad and it ends up developing into pneumonia. Seen it, treated it. Yeah, it happens. So y'all got to take care of yourselves. Seriously, take care of yourselves so you can take care of others. That's how that works. And we love you all. Thank you so much for joining us. Come hang out with us in Discord, and we will see you. Oh, schedule. I just realized I was going to say we will see you next week, and I didn't do schedule. See, this is what happens when I run a game. I get so focused on the game, I forget what I'm doing. Now I see the struggle my husband goes through. But coming up over the next week, you will see us next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we pick up on these people going to go hunt in the northern woods off the path. These freaking townies have derailed their progress already. They're going into the northern woods to scout out this woman's sister, who's probably Fae. Not a witch, but Fae. She's probably told her husband it's a witch, but Fae.
Yeah, I imagine husband doesn't necessarily know what she is.
No. So basically we're going to resume there at 8 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday. But before then, on Saturday this week, join us for Call of Cthulhu, London Esoteric Society. It's crazy ass cult stuff. I mean, you got people coughing up freaking fish. You've got people losing their minds to insanity. You've got people using books as weapons. I mean, it's just really crazy stuff. And that's at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, run by our amazing British GM Tess. She is fantastic at running the Cthulhu stuff. You want to check that out. Even Brad, didn't you guest on that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fun game.
Lots of fun.
Yeah. Lots of fun there. And then on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, we are having Windy City After Dark, Episode 8, Season 4. This is the rescue mission to save Lamar from his capture by a Nosferatu asshole in Chicago. You do not want to miss it, because we have been doing some target practice in the prior 2 sessions. Legit. 3 members of the coterie is what's been left so far with 2 people having to take a leave of absence and then the player of Lamar having to take a couple weeks off for family stuff. So we've been doing a little target practice to see how we function as a combat unit, as it were. And we about to roll in and take this fucker out. So we're gonna go rescue Lamar. Hopefully he survives the experience. Otherwise, Jackie talks to Martin and makes the city burn. But you know, join us.
Chicago doesn't need another fire.
Just, you know, history repeats itself. But so that's Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then we are back here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. to pick up with this amazing group of lost souls in basically the purgatory known as the wilderness. I love that y'all went right into that fucking Fae contract. I pulled those fucking heartstrings just right. So thank you all so much. Join us on Discord to hang out after the game, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful night. Much love to you all.